Welcome to Hardheaded Podcast. We're excited that you've joined us as we have a conversation.
It's time to join the conversation.
Welcome to the Hardheaded Podcast. Let's go.
All right. Yeah, that was good, man. You're awesome. We are back for another week without Matt Amos. And he did talk to me on a cell phone today. Like, not talk. He doesn't talk on cell phones.
Text.
He did text. He's alive. He is going to come back. He's not leaving us high and dry.
That remains to be seen.
I'm just telling you what he's telling me.
I hope he's coming back.
We have our good friend and the top person in all of our 140 episodes. You've been on more episodes than any other individual other than me, Troy, and Matt. Broughton, welcome back.
Hey, good to be here. Good to be here.
Yeah, we appreciate you. So we've got a great show. We're going to hear what's on Troy's mind. Again, we're also going to pick on Matt. Literally top 3 pieces of chicken. And I don't know why he didn't say cuts of chicken or parts of chicken. I'm not sure, but pieces of chicken is the top 3. And at first I was like, this is lame. There's only just a handful of pieces to pick from. But then I started thinking about it, and I've got a pretty interesting top 3 that you guys may not. It may shock you.
That last one that you texted me about the other day, that one's going to be a good one.
Yes. Well, we got some good ideas.
We got some good ones coming out, yeah.
And then after that, Troy's going to give us, I'm going to give you a good word.
You're going to hook up a good word.
You got that right. So, Troy, what's on your mind?
All right. So recently, last week, our kids were at VBS at your church. And my 9-year-old, how old is he? 9. My 9-year-old made a profession of faith.
Sweet.
So yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And so now I've had 3 kids that have done that.
Yep.
Kind of in order.
Of your 17
of
kids?
my 5 children.
Yep.
So the 12, 11, and 9-year-old all have. But I'm a horrible parent.
Why is that?
None of them have gotten baptized yet. So
you don't look to me because I did worse than your. If you take action now, you will have done better than me.
So here's my dilemma: is when I was young, I made the same profession of faith when I was about 6 or 7 because my sister made it about at the same church youth camp during the summer or whatever.
Camp Bethany?
Probably.
Dude,
I think it was Camp Bethany.
Yeah.
That was a great.
Rock on.
That was a fun camp.
I've spent a number of weeks there as a RA camp counselor. About 8 to be precise.
Yeah, that's awesome. That was a fun camp. But yeah. So where was I?
But your kids, you're a bad dad.
Yeah, Camp Bethany had that same experience. Yeah, it was Camp Bethany because I'm like picturing it and seeing it now.
I could draw you a layout of the cabins right now. Yeah.
Well, I remember the big where we ate and then we had worship in the other side of the
across the parking lot, little drive there.
Yeah. Anyway, so I made a profession of faith when I was young, but it didn't stick, right? So I was like what's the parable about the seed gets sown on the ground, it dried up.
So didn't stick. I would say it's not because you didn't do something right. It just wasn't a genuine profession of faith. You just walked down the aisle and did what they were asking you to do. And
correct.
Yeah.
Had an emotional experience.
Right.
Did the whole thing. Actually did that again in college. Played on the worship band at Temple and did that again.
Yeah.
And then when I finally made a true profession of faith, it was later when I was 28 years old, I was, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I made that profession of faith and began walking with Christ at that moment, or really during that month, because I was so skeptical of my past and was like, gosh, I really want this to be right. Like, is this really happening now? Like, all that stuff. So I think because of my past, I've been slow to the river.
Yeah.
To get these kids dunked.
After you're 28, did you get baptized?
I got rebaptized.
Okay.
Because I got baptized
all the other times?
Just one, the first other time.
Yeah.
Other time. And then before I married Hannah, before we got married, I was like, I made a true profession of faith to follow Christ. I really want to get baptized before we get married to just show,
Yeah.
I want to wash the old away, be new, made new, which all of it's symbolic anyway.
Right. Well, according to some others disagree, but go ahead.
True.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah. I'm allowing that those listeners that we acknowledge that you may believe differently.
Right.
That's okay.
Yeah. There are some believe that the bread and grape juice turns right into the body and blood of Christ.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You can believe that.
Well, where that can cause issues is if you are a Catholic priest performing a funeral, where a lot of people are invited to the funeral. One of the guys I worked with, his dad passed away, and we went to the service, and one of his coworkers, who was from India originally, didn't know what was going on. So when he went up, he just followed everybody up. I just stayed in the pew, but followed everybody up and got the bread and the wine. He took the bread with him, like didn't eat it. And then the priest chased him down. And like, you cannot take Christ's body in your pocket. Like it was a thing. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Wow. That's crazy. Anyway, so just given my past, I've been slow to take these kids to the river, to the baptismal waters, if you will.
Yeah.
To get them baptized. And my daughter, it's been like probably when she was 9,
mm-hmm.
she had a profession of faith, and we've talked about the fruits of the Spirit before, and you can see fruit in that.
Yeah.
And so I'm willing, like whenever
right.
whenever she's ready or brings it up again, like I'm like, yeah, let's plan that. Let's get family over. Let's do something in the backyard, that kind of thing. I'm a little hesitant with the boys.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I should be. And I don't know if
I'm a fan of what you're doing. I'm suspicious. I don't know if it's the right word, but I'll be honest. I don't want to offend anybody, but I've always been suspicious of these young conversions. I'm like, you don't even understand how mail works. I mean, and I know God can speak to anybody, but when people are like, oh, I got saved when I was 4, I'm like, okay, maybe. Not saying God couldn't do it, but I mean, I was always, and so I'm a fan of what you're doing, Troy. I'm okay with it. You got my support. And you could also, like Chet could baptize them in the pond lake behind his house.
It's against HOA rules, but I was almost twice as old.
Do you put the HOA above God? I need to know before I come back again.
No, I do not.
Okay. All right.
So I was almost twice as old when I
56?
No, twice as old as your 4-year-old example.
Oh, okay.
I was 7. And so let me tell you a few things. I'll give you my experience, and I'll give as a believer, young believer, and I'll give you my experience as a dad with young believer kids. I was 7, and it was at Clare Springs Baptist Camp in Louisiana. We're talking about Bethany, and now we're talking about Clare Springs, another one. And I don't remember a lot, like detail kid-wise, right? I knew I was the center, and I knew there was no way I could do anything to make myself right with God other than just surrender to his will. And I believed that he died on the cross for my sins and he was resurrected. And I'll tell you, an important family in our life, the Smith family, and Tom Smith was our pastor. And we were stationed at England Air Force Base, and I went straight into counseling with him. Like, it was like, hey, profession of faith, this is what happened. And then he invested time with me. And I look, because I went through what you may call a crisis of faith, senior year of high school, a little bit into college. Actually, I owned it into college, and kind of like, hey, I'm choosing to do this. I'm not doing this because this is my family. That's how I was raised, kind of thing. But
that's when people say, you'll stop following your parents' religion, and you'll I've heard people say that.
But
before.
Through that, like my last year in high school, in what I would air quotes crisis of faith. So the interesting thing, Tom Smith was our pastor when we were in Alexandria at England Air Force Base. And then my dad retired. We moved 30 miles away. And a year and a half later, they called Tom Smith to be our pastor at that church, which pretty cool. And so he was my pastor all the way up till I left high school. And, but I started looking at it as like, you know what? I understand that he knows what he's doing. I trust him still to this day. I mean, we're in touch. He preached my mom's funeral, came all the way up to Kansas for that. And so I put a little bit of faith in him understanding what I understood at that time as well. So my advice to you would be, don't be the only one that discerns this. Like, if you have a trusted pastor in your life, like, have them start talking to your kids to help. So you don't have to bear this burden, another air quotes. You don't have to be the one that totally discerns what's real and what's not real.
So that's cool that you bring that up, because I've been telling Noah, I read this book called The Intentional Father. Have you ever heard of it?
Mm-mm.
I read it, and it's about how when your boys get to, or your daughters, but it's mainly focused on boys. When your boys get to age 12, you start their journey to manhood, right? And you start doing systematic things that you...
Yeah, it sounds like Raising a Modern Day Knight. That's another...
similar to that.
Book.
But you do different things. You know, you take them back to your home where you grew up, and you watch gladiator movies, and you just do manly things, and you read the Bible together, and you do, all that kind of thing. So I've got that planned, and he just turned 11 in June. And so, but I've been telling him, like, hey, when you turn 12, like, we start your journey. And like, he is fired up about it and excited about it.
You're going to go mow your grass. You're going to change the oil in the car. You're going to,
right.
Yeah.
But one of the things,
start paying some bills, son. Yeah.
But one of the things to kind of kick it off is to invite other men that are in his life, like you, and some other dads that are in my life as friends of mine as well, but to come, and we'll do like a bonfire one night and just have this gift for him where it can be like his first knife. It's a box to where he can keep stuff in, keepsakes, a Bible, just different things. And that book really just opened my eyes to really, because I didn't really get that as a kid. It was just like, hey, here's the youth group. And it was great. I have some fantastic friends still to this day from that youth group that I met them all in 6th grade, and we still talk. That was great. But this is just like even more that I can do as a father to help.
Yeah. And you're actually saying that's what you're doing, but your dad did the same thing for you in a way, right?
Oh, right.
Like, you went to the deer camp in Mississippi. You did this. You did, so there were and this is where, and this goes back to kind of what we were talking about. One of the things I don't get about kids being the primary thing. Like, a lot of the stuff that my dad taught me because I had to tag along with him to do things. He didn't cater to me. Like, if I wanted to spend time with him, I'm going to do things that a man had to do. And some of that was holding a flashlight on the car under the hood in the patio, and after dark while he's working on a car or whatever. I'm learning all this because I didn't have a choice. Like, it wasn't like, oh, if it's okay with you, could you come hold the light? Cause I really need. It's like, no,
get over here and do this.
You're doing this. But then I realized over time that I know things now because that I was along for the ride. I had to learn with that. But anyway.
Yeah, no,
your dad did that.
You're right. Yeah. He was intentional.
It wasn't not to say that you're using a formula now, but it wasn't like a plan. It was like, oh, this is how it happens. Like, this is how it should go. Yeah. But so for my kids, we were, when they all three at different times, actually the two oldest ones, while they're young, a youth group in the church that we were going to, that church did a annual baptism Sunday. So if you made a profession of faith, they're like, yeah, that's great. We'll wait till we do this big celebration, baptism day. And then they'll put a pool on the stage and line 50 people up. and clap and, all this stuff. And I'm not a fan of that. All right. If that's what you did, that's fine, listeners. I'm okay. But that to me was more of a show that I didn't want my kids to be a part of. Like that wasn't special.
Right.
We're lining them up. We're knocking them down. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of that. So I didn't encourage my kids. Like it was because the church was like, hey, great, profession of faith. In September, we'll come back around and talk about, here's a book. And so anyway, so I'm just like, and then I'm like, I'm going to be in a holding pattern until they say, hey, I'm ready to get baptized, and so I just let that go. Well, then come around, we're going to the church that we're going to now. My youngest, Sabrina, she at camp, which by the way, parents, send your kids to camp. Yeah. Send your kids to camp. Okay. She made a profession of faith and naturally hey, let the pastor know. And then the counseling started, and then they're working through it with her, going through that whole process. And they're like, yeah, we feel, she's ready to make that step of baptism. And then my daughter that was older than her is like, I'm ready. I haven't been baptized. I'm ready to be baptized. And my son's like, yeah, I'm not going to not be baptized because I've made this profession of faith, so many years ago, and it's time, So anyway, we had one Sunday where all three of them got baptized together, lined them up, knocked them down, but it was just the Sears family.
Yeah, I was there. It was awesome.
Which was special. So, that one was like with the council of the churches that we were going to at the time, like, hey, we're going to hold this significant event off in your life until it's marketable for a big video and thing. And
yeah,
that's my interpretation.
I was on the video team, I remember.
But you go back to my experience and you go to my youngest daughter's experience, having a pastor invest and help discern and coach and guide and work with you while they're going through all of that, and then say, yeah, like this is real. And now let's go get baptized. Like that's the next thing. So
yeah,
letting your kid decide is, I'm not sure I did it right. Cause I didn't want to push them into something I wasn't a big fan of, but at the same time, you utilize the clergy that you have in your household now, like with where you go to church, and start asking them. It's like, look, I'm not looking for this to like, let's just go start dunking them. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation with them. Let's understand. Let's see, and then let them know what the Bible says about it. And like, this is what the Bible says. Do you want to do what the Bible says? Here's an opportunity, and then let them go from there.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, Maggie. I mean, we're not going to do an in-church thing either. I mean, they want to do a backyard celebration. That's what some other friends did.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, let them dictate everything that goes on in their life. Go ahead.
No, I don't even want to do that. I want to go to the river and just dunk.
So one of the things, and I've talked about them before, but one of the things I liked about the Robertsons on Baptist, like if you make a profession of faith, we are finding water right now.
Yeah,
right now.
Because it's like Philip. Wasn't it Philip in the that dunked the
let's say there's water right here. Let's go.
Yeah,
and that's the way they are. Like we're finding some water and we're going right now. So
yeah, I like that.
Anyway,
I mean, we baptized our friend Clint in the duck pond.
Yeah,
remember that? Yeah, that was fun.
So cool. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. Broughton, do you have anything to add?
No.
Okay, I just want to make sure you're still there too.
Wait, Troy, who got baptized in what duck pond?
One of our friends up here. His name's Clint.
Not the duck pond I'm thinking of.
On a duck hunt.
No. We were on a duck hunt up here in Kansas.
Okay.
Not
that would be questionable.
Not the duck hole down there.
Yeah. Yep. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back, talk about our top 3 pieces of chicken. Oh, I bet you can't wait.
I'm clucking.
At Admiral's Pennant, our mission is to offer the latest and refined, high-quality masculine products and services to the modern gentleman, as well as provide him with the tools and products necessary to look, act, and feel confident in his appearance and social interactions. Check it out at admiralspennant.com. Without it, you might as well shave.
And we're back.
Okay. Top 3 pieces of chicken, Broughton, fire away.
Oh, top 3 pieces of chicken. I'm going to go with number 3 is a piece of chicken from Popeyes.
Yes.
Number 2 is a piece of chicken from Chick-fil-A, and number 1 is a piece of chicken from Cane's.
I like this angle.
I don't like it.
I love it.
So, at Popeyes, what cut of chicken are you going to get?
You want a okay. I want a piece of chicken that's cooked, a piece of chicken that's clean, and a piece of chicken
that's been fried.
Handled by a clean person.
This has been fried.
Okay, now honestly, I was thinking about that. I'm like, I'm not going gizzard, liver, heart, beak, neck. I'm not doing any of that.
Okay.
I'm eliminating the breast, and I'm going, number 3. I mean, if you think about it, I'm not getting into how much the chicken costs and the economics of it, because let's say I could go to an unlimited fried or whatever chicken buffet and get quality cooked pieces, and it doesn't matter. So and they're not worried about eating all the drumsticks or eating all this,
right?
And I just eat all. There's 1 million pieces of each kind, and there's only meat, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right. I think my favorite would be the drumstick, number 1.
Okay.
Now, but and sometimes you run that's not as good of a value as the thigh, which is also very close. I like the drumstick because you just hold it, eat it, toss it.
Yeah, and it's dark meat. It's dark meat.
Yeah, dark meat's better. So thigh and drumstick are neck and neck, but a thigh you got to handle it. You can't scroll on your phone and listen to Hardheaded podcast while you're eating it.
Speak for yourself, man.
Check the Hardheaded Facebook page to see if Matt Amos woke up to post something that day, or if they got reception out there in the country where he lives and building his garage for his new car, and he doesn't know how to put tires on or whatever he's doing. I don't know.
Oh man, that's
He's
good.
really, I bet he lives in an apartment in the city and he's got it parked in a covered garage.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on.
So, but okay, so I'm going to go with number 1, drumstick. Number 2, thigh. Number 3 is wing, because now I don't like a fried chicken wing. This is only when you break there's multiple parts of the wing, and when they become buffalo wings or chicken wings, and there's the drumette, and then there's the wing that they make out as a wing.
Which
I
one?
like the drumette better than the wing
Oh,
part.
really?
When you get that,
Yeah.
Dude,
when you go to Wingstop and they have those two,
I'm opposite.
one is a little wing and one is the drumette. I like the drumette better for the same reason I like the drumstick over the thigh.
Yeah.
But they're really just 2 pieces of a large wing that are cutting, cut apart.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go drumstick, thigh, wing in the situation where there's 1 million pieces of perfectly cooked chicken and I'm the only person around.
Okay.
But if I buy chicken, a lot of times I buy the thigh for value and all that.
And it's better. It's not. It's never. Well, never mind. I'll go with mine, then we'll go with you, Troy. Number 3.
But, my first top 3 was, my true.
Yeah, I hear you. You're trying. You put more effort into top 3s than we do. You come with just multiple lists.
It's good. I like it.
I've got an honorable mention. We'll save it. Number 3, the back.
Where can you buy the chicken back?
Chicken Annie's in Pittsburgh,
You're
Kansas.
being dramatic for the podcast. You had never ate a chicken back.
Second time you brought this place up.
It's good. It's very good. But let me.
Is this place in Independent, Kansas?
He read about it on
Pittsburgh.
TikTok, and he's never been.
That's not true. I've had the back there. Let me tell you a couple things, and it's not just there. We're about to get to this, but the crisp fried battered to meat ratio is the highest on the back. Okay, so there's very little meat, a whole lot of surface area. But we get rotisserie chickens all the time.
Yeah.
And we typically debone them. Like, so if a recipe calls for chicken, we buy a rotisserie chicken, and then we don't have to cook, buy something and cook it. It's ready to go, throw it in the recipe.
Right.
So I'm the deboner. So I'll take all the meat off the bones. Well, if you flip that rotisserie chicken over to where the back is, there's these things they call the oysters. They're 2 medallion-sized little small pieces of meat that are in the back, towards the bottom, though, away from the neck. That you.
I hate to break it to you, Chet, but those aren't oysters.
They call them the oyster.
I know they call those oysters in a lot of animals, bro.
Rocky Mountain oyster. No, this is a chicken. But anyway, you take your. That's funny. You take your. You just take your thumb and pop that thing out, and it's like twice the size of an almond, and it is always juicy, always tender. A great bite of meat. Like, so.
Chet loves balls.
Nobody. That's way back. He's going way back on when we recorded the flooded timber duck hunt.
Yeah.
And I got the boudin balls. That's what he's bringing up right now.
The boudin balls.
I forgot about that.
No, you weren't thinking about that when you said that?
No, he was thinking you were eating
making out like the oysters were
Rocky Mountain oysters.
Of the chicken.
Okay. Well, anyway, so I'm a fan. Like, rotisserie. Nobody knows that exists. So it's like, oh, debone this rotisserie chicken. I need the whole chicken. Well, you could eat that. Nobody knows. Like, it's there. I love it. It's tender. It's great. Dark meat, by the way. Number 2, gizzard. And, people are like, oh, you're just, no, I go to stores like when I worked at John's Controls, the 21st and Amity in Dillon's.
Where do you get some where it's not so gristly?
The gizzards are tough. They're not gristly. They're just tough. It's the hardest working muscle in a bird.
Right.
So, but I'd go there at the market, the deli, and I'd be like, hey, I need, give me a quarter pound of gizzards. And then they normally have them, already fried up at the little counter, but I'd gone enough. They're like, hey, we'll get you some fresh ones. And then they'll go fry them up fresh right there, coming hot off I'm telling you, it's hard to beat that. The only way you could beat that is with my number 1, which is a thigh. Like, just the best meat on a chicken. No matter if it's rotisserie chicken, grilled chicken, smoked chicken, fried chicken, give me the thigh every time. That's you can't beat it. And I know there's people that like convenience, but I can still eat a thigh with one hand. If you try hard enough, you can do anything. Put your mind to it.
Yeah, I can do it, but it's just not easy.
Yeah.
But let me just say this. How a lot of people, and I'm not getting into the theology of this. How some people will say something like, when I die, I'm going to find my grandfather in heaven and give him a hug. How people say stuff like that?
Yeah.
Well, if you can do stuff like that in heaven, when I die, I'm going to ask God, show me when Chet really went to all these soul food places and had these crazy pieces of chicken. Because I don't believe it happened.
Show me in the time.
Good, faithful son, it dideth not.
I don't know what you do. All right, here we go.
It dideth not happen. All right, while you're looking up pictures, I
already got them. I got them right here. It's on the menu that I just sent you. There you go, Troy. Boom.
Leg, thigh, back, wing.
There you go.
He could have got that off the website.
You get a mixed dinner at Chicken Annie's, and it comes with a leg, a thigh, a back, and a wing. Now let me tell you this, Broughton, from what you just said, if you're going to order a basket of chicken and you get a leg, a thigh, and a wing, anything else they put with that is probably on par with it, right? A back. Right. So that's what they put in that thing. Is backs are, to them, equivalent as good as wings, legs, and thighs.
I got to go to this place.
There you go. It's in
Where's
your phone.
Chicken Annie's?
It's in Pittsburgh, Kansas. So that's about 2 hours and 45 minutes east of Wichita.
Yep. Road trip.
So it's really out of our way to Manhattan.
Yeah, very out of our way to Manhattan.
Yeah.
I'll fry you up some chicken backs. I'll save some.
Well, I'm not saying that I'm not willing to Pittsburgh it. I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
I'm just telling you, I know what I'm talking about. And just because you don't know something exists doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
I need you to find the most Chicken Annie type place around Wichita.
I don't know if that's even possible. We'll figure it out.
Have you been to that new place?
Huh?
Pete's Chicken, that new place?
Never heard of it.
Because I'll be honest with you, I'm highly suspect of every restaurant.
Is it a fried chicken place?
Yeah.
Pete's Fried Chicken?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. I'll look it up to make sure.
All right, Troy, what's about your top 3?
All right, number 3, breast.
Oh, gosh.
I knew it. I knew you were going to scoff at that. But if it's cooked right, man, it's so good.
No, it's not.
What, like?
I mean, there are a million things you can do with it. A million different dishes. I've done a lot of
You can cut the tender off, fry it, and serve it with cane sauce.
There you go. Fantastic.
Yep.
Number 2, drumstick.
I'm glad that you have some dark meat on here.
Yeah.
Because if you went all white meat, I would have shunned you.
No, the breast is really the only white meat that I'll eat.
And I will have to say, if I happen to come across a well-cooked chicken breast, it's enjoyable, but it's rare. People overcook them. They even like KFC can't cook a chicken breast without making it dry. It's just,
if I get fried chicken to go or whatever, I'm not getting chicken breast.
Yeah.
No, I'm not getting fried chicken breast. That's a waste of meat.
Okay.
You gotta bake that joker or grill it or put some kind of sauce and seasoning all over it, and
I'm with you. Okay.
Keep it juicy.
Dude, I can cook a chicken breast that's actually good. I did TikTok, I swear, a YouTube short. And it was like, you pan sear it for like 4 minutes and you put it in the oven for like just a few, and you got some olive oil and some stuff, and it came out good. I swear. Yep. I was shocked. But I'm too lazy to do it. So
Yeah, I'll just go to Cane's. Yep.
Yeah.
And my number 1 is the wing.
The flat or the drum?
I like the flat.
Yeah.
Better, but I eat both.
I'll eat both, but if so the best wings in town, in my opinion, are the Caribbean jerk wings from what's the pizza place?
Pizza Hut?
No. The Ziggy's. Best wings in town. I've claimed it. I've claimed it to people that then we went and ate them, and they disagreed when I claimed it and said there's no way pizza place has the best wings. Then we ate it, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, these are the best wings I've ever had."
I'll go taste them.
So anyway,
I love their pizza, so I always get pizza.
I order, get some wings from them, and naturally it's going to be a mixture. I'm going to eat it all, but if it's like you and I are there and you're like, oh, why don't you eat half of these? I'm reaching for a drum first.
Well, that would be perfect because I'm reaching for a flat first.
Yeah. Okay.
It's perfect if there's same amount of drums, same amount of flats.
It'd be all right. I mean, you'd eat a drum. I'll eat a flat.
If I had to, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it.
Cool. That's not a bad list. Not a bad list. I bet Matt would have been like chicken breast, chicken tender. What's a chicken liver?
Chick-fil-a.
Actually, I think he told me what they were when I was talking to him today.
He probably did a Broughton list and was like, Chick-fil-A, Popeyes.
I love livers for fishing, so that would make my top 3.
Who said that?
Matt Amos. And
if
then
you're not here, you can't text me.
And then he said,
These don't count.
Oh, dude, he's not too far off from you. Wings, thighs, and breast. Then breast. So breast would be 3rd. So he's going wings, and then he has thighs instead of drumstick, and then breast. He's more aligned with you.
And I don't mind a thigh. We cook thighs so much. Like, I'm so sick of them.
Yeah?
My family loves
Did
chicken
you like boneless thighs?
No, we get bone in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're just so cheap, and it's just like a good meal that everybody will eat.
Yeah.
It's like on the menu weekly, sometimes twice a week.
And I told him I like backs, and he's like, backs? And then I sent him the pictures.
Did not happen.
I sent him the pictures of the menu the first time I've ever had one. And then I said, also the backs have 2 very tender chunks of meat referred to as the oysters. And then he's like, oh, I didn't know they were called that, but I know what they are. And I said, they're delicious. He's like, oh, for sure. I just didn't know what they were called. So he's on the oyster wagon.
Nice.
All right. I owe us a good word.
Let's hear it.
If I recall. My good word, influencer. Are you ready for this, Broughton? Are you an influencer?
I've influenced you your whole life. I've talked you into marrying my friend. So yeah.
Okay. So we're looking at 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. This is actually scripture from this past Sunday, which I wasn't able to be there, but my pastor preached on this passage, and so I was reading up on it just to see what I missed. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 9. I'm going to read through verse 12. Now about your love for one another. This is Paul writing to the church at Thessalonica. Now about your love for one another, we do not need to write to you, for you yourselves have been taught by God to love each other. And in fact, you do love all of God's family throughout Macedonia. Yet we urge you, brothers and sisters, to do so more and more, and to make it your ambition to lead a quiet life. You should mind your own business and work with your hands, just as we told you, so that your daily life may win the respect of outsiders, and so that you will not be dependent on anybody. So if you think this little chunk of what he's telling them, he's like, look, you guys have displayed, we don't need to write to you, tell you how to, or tell you to do, to love one another, because your love for each other in the church is fantastic. And we could tell that you love God's family all through this region. But if you want to influence outsiders, what do? And what Paul's telling them to do here is mind your own business, work with your hands, so that your daily life will win respect of outsiders. And that you're not dependent upon anybody.
Yeah.
That's very respectful. So if you want to influence, be a good hard worker and mind your own business. Did you know that Scripture said it flat out, mind your own business?
I do now.
That's right.
And if you do that, you produce the fruits that Troy talked about last week. So, I mean, it's all tied together.
Everything ties together.
That's right.
Tied together like flour and grease on chicken.
You're trying real hard to wrap this whole thing up.
I'm trying to tie it together even further.
Yeah.
Like your good word from last week, my good word from this week, and our top 3.
And
it all is tied
bucket
together.
Of chicken.
But anyway, so influence. If you want to influence, work hard and mind your business.
I like it. Thanks, Chet. We'll see you next week.
Broughton, thanks for helping us out. Well, maybe you'll be on next week, maybe not. We'll see if Matt is alive.
Yeah.
I'll be listening. All right.
Back.
Appreciate you.
Thanks for listening to the Hardheaded Podcast. Don't forget to share this podcast with others to help us get the word out.
Also, if you haven't yet, please rate and review the show. This helps our podcast show up in other people's suggested shows that may or may not have listened to us before.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.